So these are the two pumps that we're going to be working on getting removable insulation blankets made for. The model over here is called the 450 model, and this model over here is the 600 model. And the difference is basically it's the same footprint except for the width is narrow on the 450 and it's much wider on the 600. The 450 is 7.5 inches wide and the 600 model is 10 inches wide. Now both of these pumps can be configured in many different ways, and we're gonna work on getting the removable insulation blankets universal to where we could adapt to all these different configurations. And the only difference between the two models will be is the centerpiece will be different as per the width difference on pumps. Everything exterior wise on the blankets will be the same for both. And we'll be starting with the 450 model first. I'll show you the different configurations. That way you could understand why the blankets are being built a certain way. As I was saying, we're going to be working on the 450 model, the narrow 7.5 inch body, and these are the end plates that go on the outside of them. And they could be configured in many ways, like I was saying. They could be installed this direction or rotated this direction. And being an asphalt pump, this would be the drive shaft end sticking out, so you could have what we call as a high drive, or you could flip this around and it would be a low drive. And then this would be the back plate, and you could have them swapped this way or swapped that way, and then you could turn them 180 depending on which configuration the customer is looking for. So as I mentioned, this is the 450 model, and I did install the end plates on both sides. In this 450, this particular model of end plates has these caps, and this is called the 450R model. These will be a little on the thicker side as opposed to a different model, which is the 450V for Victor. So this is the 450R model, and you can see that it is going to be a low drive, and then this would be the back side of the pump. So what I got here is the mock-ups materials that I've created to send so we could get the real ones made. And what we got here is this would be the body portion, and this will be specifically designed for the 450 for the width. Everything else will be the same for the 450 or the 600 as far as the other mock-up materials. The only thing that's different between the 450 and the 600 will be this center piece. This will be the removable insulation cover for the front part of the pump, and this would be the removable portion of the rear part of the pump. And as far as installation will go, this is to go approximately like this, and then it's cut off purposely. We'll probably have some kind of strap or Velcro to attach here after assembly. You'll be able to reattach it with probably some Velcro, maybe a strap right here. I actually marked up everything on here. This would be there would be Velcro and straps involved in this removable insulation blanket. So imagine this is separated right here, because if it is on a previous install, the customer will be able to imagine there being a shaft here with a belt pulley system and everything like that. So you can't get it around the front unless it was split apart. So imagine splitting apart, going around that front shaft. It's cut out on the inside here to accommodate. Okay, so you can see that I put the center piece on, and I put some process fluid port connections to imitate that we're connected to rigid plumbing. And basically what you see here is the final product, but in a mock-up version, of course. There were holes here before. You can see that they're now covered up. And let's go ahead and talk about these holes. These are basically patches. And if you remove a patch, there will be a heat port, basically for hot oil, transfer oil, to keep the asphalt pump itself, keeping it warm. And most of these, each one of these, the front cover and the back cover have 4 of these holes. One here on top, one on the side, one on the bottom, and then one on the back side. On a pump itself, there really only needs to be an inlet hose and an outlet hose, just like the process fluid, but for hot transfer oil to keep the pump warm. So most of these patches will be just like that. They're actually going to be just patches, and they're going to live being covered up their entire lives. And they're to be held on by 1-inch overlap. It is a 3x3 3x3 patch with a 5x5 perimeter on the outside, 1 inch all the way around being the Velcro attachment, and then the other part of the hook and loop Velcro will be on 3 sides of it will be on this end plate front cover, and then the other portion will be on this center piece for the 450. So that would Velcro it on all 4 sides. That way that stays there for the remainder of its life. They shouldn't really need to be changed. So there will be 3 patches, and then there will be a patch with a hole on it, one on the front, one on the back. So we do need to make patches with and without holes, and the hole basically is to so that way, imagine there being a process hose here. I could actually grab one quick. A heat transfer hose. Basically, there's an adapter here, or a fitting here, to be able to screw this on. Now, imagine I tighten it completely down, and then this patch will basically fill this void. So after tightening down, and it's split here, so you go around the hose, and it's Velcroed right on all 4 sides, and then basically that covers it up. And then on the rear, there's 3 patches also, and then there's one with a hole on it for a heat transfer hose coming out. This basically supplies hot oil to keep the pump warm. All right. So those are the patches we talked about. They're to have Velcro all the way around, and basically there's 2 patches, right? There's 2 types of patches. There's going to be per pump. There's going to be 6 total blanks, and then 2 of them with the split. I'm assuming we'll have either a strap or, well, the Velcro should hold it still, so it's just going to be split so we can put it around the hose and seal it up. So those are the patches that we're going to need to create. And these red straps are just for demonstration purposes only, or just to hold everything together right now. The straps are actually going to hold everything together. So imagine the straps are actually going to be, there's going to be straps here, D-rings here, and you're going to be able to run the strap through the D-ring to tighten it up from this side. Same thing with this side, tighten it up to keep it together. So there's going to be straps here, there's going to be straps here on the other side, and then I believe, yeah, there's going to be a strap down here below, and there'll be another strap down below this process pipe down on the lower half right here. I believe I even have them already pre-marked. Yeah, it's down here at the bottom. On both sides there'll be a strap to tighten this center piece to the outside pieces, so that way it sandwiches it all together. So you didn't see how I installed the center portion. The outer pieces will attach to the center piece with Velcro, overlapping Velcro, just like these plugs, and then obviously the straps. Kind of want both, that way it's kind of sealed and really secured. It's not really relying on the Velcro to for real strong winds or whatnot. The straps are really there for the durability, and then really the Velcro is there for like kind of sealing purposes. So here's the overlap, as I was mentioning. So there'll be Velcro along this line 1 inch, and then everything on this end plate covers will overlap and secure to it around. Let me loosen this guy up. And then you can see the center portion split right here to go around this process pipe, and this will be I wrote down Velcro and strap going across, so there'll be a little piece of Velcro and a strap going across. Shouldn't go anywhere. Same thing with the bottom here. It's actually split along the bottom, Velcro and a strap going across, attaching these to it. So you can see it could go around that process pipe, and same thing with the bottom, goes around that process pipe, and we can attach a I think I wrote it right here to be Velcro to attach to each other. So that is the 450 R series, and it is a low drive, and if it were to be a high drive, I'll show you that next. So right here you can see the low drive setup, and I'll show you, basically it'll be reversed. So imagine flipping this around. So this is up here. This would just go in reverse order. This would just be up here, and then the bottom would be like that. Okay, so now you see it as a high drive. Shaft being on top. These are two separate pieces, the same exact ones, but now we're just on a high drive application, and you can see the hot transfer oil line sticking out through the front there. Notice the process pipe is up the top and to the right. So basically we can turn this model completely around, and we'll be able to utilize these same covers, just with the drive being on the other side of this configuration. So I'll show you that next. Okay, so now you can see the process ports are on the top and now the left. So, and the drive is now still high drive, but it's facing the other direction. Before it was faced this way because the pump was turned around. So, being that this front piece, it's universal, I could use it depending on whatever configuration. And you can see the heat transfer oil lines, front and back, removable, little patches. So if you did turn it around, you can see now the rear is covered up. Centerpiece removable, covering it up. And last configuration being a low drive with the process port still on the left and on the top. Okay, so up until this point, we've been working with the R model. This was the R model front cap, and we were using the R drive and the R drive and the R idler to make the cover. So now we're going to be dealing with the V drive. Same footprint, but much more narrow. So it's actually the same dimensions between the V drive and R drive. Only thing is the R drive, because it's thicker, you can see that there's a thicker pad on the outside portion of it. Same thing with the R idler versus the V idler. You can see that the thickness difference in the R versus the V. So the V being more narrow. Let's put these caps on. Okay. Uses the same front end plate cover, but it just uses these different smaller pieces. So it uses that same cover, but now we're using the V-idler because of the thickness difference. So this will be to go around the drive shaft, and then this is for the idler portion, which is down here. So same thing as the R, but because the plate is thicker on the R, you need this extra step to go around it. So that would be a V. So just like the R model, you could basically utilize this entire removable blanket system with it being a high drive, or if it's flipped around, low drive, with the process fluid coming out the side and the top, or reverse, same exact way as the R model. But the only difference between the R model and the V model are these front little individual caps, and then the rear cap. Actually, sorry, the rear cap cover stays the same for the V&R, or sorry, for the R model or the V model. It's the exact same footprint, so it's got that thicker pad. There doesn't need to be a difference for the rear portion, just the front. So to cap it up, the pieces that we would need are the center portion, which goes down the center, the V&R, the R rear, the R rear and the V rear cover. Patches with the hole and without the hole. R drive and R idler covers. And then a rear, I'm calling this the rear end plate cover with all the knockouts for the heat port areas. And then of course the V drive and V idler covers, and then the front end plate cover. Those are the pieces that we need for the 450 V series and R series pumps in any kind of configuration. Everything is exactly the same with the larger 600 series. The only difference is this centerpiece is an inch and a quarter wider on each side from the center line because the housing is that much wider. So here is the 600 housing centerpiece. It is a little lighter on the sides, has the same kind of scrap attachments going along the front and around the process port with Velcro, and D-rings and straps along the back side of the pump. And then also it has it does have little wing walls on the sides to let it fit around that 600 housing a little better. So these are the differences between the two. And then you can see the side view. It does have little wing walls on the 600 series. Now we have the 600 with the end plates on the sides and the port process ports. So we got our end plates on, and I put on the port process adapters. And here in the front you can see those are the R series front, R series back caps. Okay, now the end caps are on for the R Series 600. As with the 450, that centerpiece, there'll be a split here, Velcro or a strap, or both on the bottom side. So this goes around this process port. This is split here, Velcro attaching it together, and a D-ring and strap tightening it down. So this will go around this process port, like so. And it takes the exact width of the housing itself, minus the end plates, because those stay the same for the 450 or 600. So this is the 600R with the entire removable insulation blanket mock-up. Just as so here's the hot oil lines. We'll start disassembling it. Again, the split 1-inch overlap to Velcro on all 4 sides. One of the sides being the centerpiece. The end plate covers have a 1-inch overlap to Velcro to the centerpiece. And of course the straps, as mentioned before in the 450 housing that I mentioned. Straps going across 1 spot, 2 spots, 3 spots, and then below the heat port down here 4 spots. Here's another patch. Front patches. Front. These will be Velcroed or somehow maybe strapped right here, keep them in place. Front cover, split to go around the drive shaft. Rear for access for loop ports and etc. Rear end plate cover. And the centerpiece. There you are. So those are all pieces for the 600 housing and the 450 housing, V series and R series.